She's a nice lady. She seems very funny. I liked her on Star Trek a lot. I respect Whoopi Goldberg. I don't like her political opinions, but you know what? I respect Whoopi Goldberg. But the person I don't like, in actuality, is Lena Dunham. I don't really respect Lena Dunham. Not because she's a woman or anything like that, because I just said I respect Whoopi Goldberg, and she's a woman, right? See, I'm proving it. I'm not sexist. I got you. I got you. I'm not sexist because I said I like Whoopi Goldberg. I just don't like Lena Dunham. You see, I got you. You're trying to get me, and I got you. I got you right back. Anyway, I don't like Lena Dunham, not because she's a woman, but because I don't like Lena Dunham. I don't think she's funny. I don't think she has really anything new to say that hasn't been said before. She engages in shock humor, which is not really that shocking. It's just shocking how bad she looks while she's doing it. She's not a particularly interesting person. She has a not very good television show on HBO. It's not very funny either. And she herself is not a very pleasant person. Not just in looks, although that is a factor. She's just not a very pleasant person. So I don't have a whole lot of reason to care at all about Lena Dunham. Other than she's a non-American. She's, British. She's from the UK, who keeps constantly commenting about American politics, thinking that she knows better than Americans on who to vote for. But she was wrong because Donald Trump won and Lena Dunham lost badly in societal poll. Her clout score went down, and also in just people who care about her. People don't care that much about Lena Dunham. She gets headlines because you have Tumblr kids who read her crap. That's what it is. Nobody cares about Lena Dunham. Nobody, except for little kids, edgy teenagers, and teenage girls. And that's it. And sometimes you'll have someone on some television news station who will tell you that Lena Dunham is just the future of comedy when she's not, and she'll be forgotten about in 10 years because she's not new or innovative. People like Norm Macdonald get remembered because Norm Macdonald was innovative, he was funny, and his comedy is timeless. Mitch Hedberg will be remembered because he's funny, his comedy is timeless. Tina Fey, for heaven's sake. See, I'm not sexist. I got you. I got you again. Tina Fey, funny. Amy Poehler, kind of funny. Amy Schumer, not funny. Not funny. She's not funny. And you also have people like the chick from Saturday Night Live that's also kind of funny. Yeah, she's pretty funny. And there are a lot of funny women. It's just that Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer are not among the people who are funny. Amy Schumer got popular because daddy's a senator, or uncle's a senator, whichever, Chuck Schumer anyway. And, she's edgy and she steals other people's jokes who are much funnier than her. That's it. Lena Dunham, she got popular because she's a British chick with weird tattoos who sometimes says funny things and she looks kind of odd. She has rad femme opinions. That's it. She's not funny. She's not funny, man. She's really, watch a bit of hers. It's not that funny. It's just like she says stuff. Ooh, her comedy's non-comedy because there's no jokes. It's just, this is what I think about things. It's dumb. It's bad. But whatever, man. Whatever, man. I'm not here to talk about comedy. I'm here to talk about politics. This has just happened in Seattle over the last 2 nights, by the way. A shooting happened in Seattle. 5 people shot on election night. And, of course, that's not a good thing, no matter who they are. It's not good that they're shot. But this is just coming out from New York Daily News. At least 5 people were wounded after a torrent of gunfire rang out nearby an anti-Donald Trump protest in Seattle Wednesday evening, according to the police. Hundreds of demonstrators outraged over the outcome of the election were moving through the city's downtown area towards Capitol Hill when a rapid succession, blat blat, of gunfire erupted around 6:45 p.m. local time, according to witnesses. A male victim was taken to an area hospital with critical injuries after the shooting, the Seattle Fire Department reported, and the other 4 were being treated for serious but not life-threatening injuries. Initial reports indicated the spate of gunfire was not connected to the protest. The suspected shooter, who is believed to be an adult male, remained on the lam early Thursday as cops launched an investigation. So he's being sought after. They don't know who he is, and they don't think that it's politically motivated, which seems unlikely given the circumstances, but maybe he saw someone in the crowd he didn't like, decided to open fire, has a terrible aim, and hit people who were not the intended target. That happens all too often. In Chattanooga, as an example, here where I live, in Chattanooga, we have gang shootings all the dang time. And, there was a time here in Chattanooga where they denied there was a gang problem, believe it or not. And it wasn't that long ago. They denied there was a gang problem in Chattanooga. That shows you how jaded our politics, or at least what big liars they were back then, but they denied there was a gang problem. And now here we are a few years later, and gangs are the only thing that anyone wants to talk about when it comes to crime. So obviously, someone was either lying or stupid. I'm going for the stupid part, and you should be glad that I am, because if you're lying, I'll come after you. But anyway, no, they deny there was a gang problem in Chattanooga. What, are you nuts? There's a gang problem in Chattanooga. This was a while ago, of course. Now they act like it's the biggest thing ever. It is a very big problem. Maybe not as big as they make it out to be, but it is a very big problem. Anyway, you have this happen all the time with gangs where they'll fire at somebody, miss terribly because they don't know how to shoot a gun. You know, they pick up a high point 9mm at the pawn shop and act like they're in Call of Duty, and then because it's the only game they ever play, and then they fire off willy-nilly and miss completely the person they're trying to hit and end up hitting a 5-year-old kid. That's why law enforcement, unfortunately, is not working right now. I mean, it is if it were implemented correctly, but it's not being implemented correctly. You can't really take care of the gang problem the way we are taking care of the gang problem. We're trying to take care of the gang problem with feel-good methods, and it doesn't frickin' work in Chattanooga. It never has. It never will. It's never worked in any city I've ever heard of. If you can get people to respect you, it'll work. But gang members, this is amazing, I know, big revelation. Gang members do not respect cops. Whoa. Gang members do not respect cops. This is a big revelation, I know. So community outreach in this way, it's not going to get you jack. You're just going to have angry gang members, and you're going to have more shootings. Those two things, it doesn't work. Amazing. And that's why you have gang problems in so many of these big cities, and that's why you have gang problems in Chattanooga, where we are right now. It drives you mad, man. It drives you mad. You feel like you're going to just pull your hair out sometimes at how people are handling these problems when I know the solution. I can figure it out, but for some reason these people can't, and I'll tell you why. I will tell you why they can't. And I'm going to tell you the secret to the universe here. This is the secret to the universe. I'm going to tell it to you right now. Bureaucracy exists to perpetrate and perpetuate bureaucracy. That's it. Paperwork. Infinite amounts of paperwork. You want to get something done in government? Paperwork. You want to say, I need to take this child away from someone because I'm in DCS. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. There needs to be evaluation. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. I need to start up a program that's going to give pizzas to gang members. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. There's always paperwork. It's nothing but paperwork. And every time we try some new reform, guess what happens? More paperwork. More people are just going to get more lazy because they don't want to file out paperwork. Everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. That's the secret to the life, universe, and everything is paperwork. I'm serious about this. I am dead serious about this. This is why you have military efficiency. Because in the military, yes, they have lots of paperwork, but not so much that it's overwhelming, and they get the job done because their job is to get the job done. Bureaucrats, their job is to cover their butt and maybe the people below them. Look at the VA. Look at the VA. You had the VA, right? And everyone is telling you there's a problem with the VA. But in the VA, they deny there's a problem. We know there is one. We can prove there is one. You have veterans dying. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. You have veterans dying, but there's no problem. No, the VA's fine. We're working on reform, and we feel very bad about it. So we'll put out more paperwork. And guess what? The paperwork, it gets backed up. And guess what? Because the people who work there are barely educated college kids, maybe, they're not filling out the paperwork. And you know what happens? The system gets backed up. And you know what happens? People aren't being admitted into the system. You know what happens? They die because of bureaucracy, because of paperwork. If you had a privatized system, this wouldn't be happening nearly as much. If you had competition, maybe you had healthcare competition for veterans, this wouldn't be happening nearly as much. But instead, you have public-private competition. Public-private competition is what is killing our country. It is killing our country in so many ways you can't even fathom it, because you have public institutions creating things and creating entities and programs which could be done by a private entity, but instead the government does it. And so the private entities say there's no reason to compete. Government's doing it. No reason to compete. You see this with telecoms. Here in Chattanooga, we have EPB. And EPB is choice. EPB is great. But let me tell you something. If you had, and I'm not talking like Enron-style deregulation, but if you had deregulation in the form that would actually, work, that wasn't biased towards certain companies, if you had a real deregulation where it didn't cost an arm and a leg to put up wire, it didn't cost an arm and a leg to get tax breaks on different things, and it wasn't ridiculous to try to put up wires in different places, and you had line sharing like you used to, then you could have affordable internet. And you know what? Considering what you can do with the internet, it's actually kind of affordable. It actually is. And by the way, people complain about EPB not being able to go out to the boondocks, in places where it's very rural, because that's what people want. That's what people complain about all the dang time, is you have this problem. You have this big problem where people say, I need internet, I need Comcast, I need EPB, and I'm on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Give me my internet. Well, guess what? You're on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. It's going to cost them more money to get the lines out to you. I know this is hard to explain. It's going to cost more money to get the lines out to you. That costs money to maintain. It's going to cost more money to do that than you're paying them to do. So unless you want to pay $10,000 for them to run a line out to you and then pay maintenance costs on top of that and then have the bill go up for everybody else, because now they got to pay for that too, stop complaining about internet. I'm serious. You're running the rates up for everybody else. And this is where you have government that steps in and says, oh, we see that you're not catering to people in rural areas. We see that you're not running internet lines out to people who live on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere across a swamp infested by alligators that has deadly spiders and rattlesnakes all day. I see that you're not running lines out to these people in an affordable way. Why is that? Well, we'll give you a tax break to do it. And then the rates go up because maintenance costs. Tax breaks ain't going to cut it. The rates go up because maintenance costs. People are so dumb, they don't get it. You are so dumb, you don't get it. Not you personally, the listener. You're smart. You're very smart. But I mean people, right? People at large are so dumb, they don't get. You don't get free, cheap stuff without having to pay for it or other people having to pay for it. It doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. But let's stack up more paperwork and more enforcement. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. And we'll pretend everything's going to be all right. It's not going to be. Eventually, you keep stacking the papers up, they're going to fall over on top of your head. And that's what's happening. And I think this is what people are fed up with. That's why you have a Trump presidency. That's why you have a Republican majority in the Senate and in Congress right now, Senate and House of Representatives right now. You have this Republican majority because the people are just ticked off enough to make it happen. You got people like me. Well, I'm not even Republican. You got people, I think that they are corrupt as heck. I think they are corrupt as all get out. I think Republicans are just as bad as Democrats. And I think Democrats are very bad. Just as bad as Democrats. But you know what? Joe Blow doesn't know that. And you can't blame Joe Blow for not knowing that because Joe Blow doesn't read political science. Joe Blow knows what Joe Blow knows. He thinks that the Republican Party is a party of the little guy when it's not. But you notice that people who are for the party for the little guy, they all think their party is for the little guy. Democrats are like, yes, we're out to help the poor. We're out to help the less fortunate. We're out to help other people. We're Democrats. We're here to help you. We need some more tax money so you can pay for the other people. And it's going to be free health care for them. It's going to be free housing for them. It's going to be free internet for them. It's going to be free cell phones for them. It's going to be free education for them. It's going to be free food for them. We just need free everything for these poor, unfortunate people. Never mind the companies providing these free things are getting government money to do it. So it's not free. You're paying for it. You're paying for the contractors that their brother are in. The Rodhams are all into this, by the way. You're paying for the contractors that my brother's in, contracted to the government to provide these services. That's why Democrats are just petty capitalists in disguise. They talk about socialism all day, but in America, socialism requires contractors. And the contractors get paid by who? You guessed it. You, through government. They steal your money so that money can be reallocated to people in less fortunate situations. Now, do I want people in less fortunate situations to go under? No. I love people in less fortunate situations. I am a person in a less fortunate situation. But I don't want government money. You know why? Because that'd be stealing from you. I don't want to steal from you. I care about you. I care about your wallet, and I care about where your money goes. You have a right to determine where your money goes. I'm not going to steal that from you. That's why I'm not taking government money, because I don't want to steal your money. Now, people who take government money are not all bad. Stealing your money. And really, their money's being stolen by the government in the first place, isn't it? Through taxation, which you might argue is theft, and maybe it is in some cases. But you know what? What people don't get half the time is that it's not Democrats and Republicans, it's politicians and bureaucrats. It's politicians and bureaucrats. It's like cowboys and Indians. You got politicians and bureaucrats. They're the same dang thing. You know, Democrats and Republicans, forget that. It's just people who are colluding with private and public ventures, agreements, contracts, paperwork. It all goes to the same place. It's all going to fund giant government structure. It's all going to fund entities which keep you under. It's all going to fund media which keeps you uninformed. It's all going to fund colleges which keep you stupid. It's all going to fund public schools which keep your kids stupid. It's all going to fund newspapers which make sure you don't know what the heck is going on. It's all going to fund programs so you have food that's not nearly top quality. It's all going to fund corporations that make sure the food you do eat is full of chemicals and crap. And it's all there to fund public works ventures so you can't drive on your own dang roads because you got bike lanes in the way. That's what government's about. It's about screwing you over. It's not about helping the little guy. It's about you screwing you over so the little guy feels a little bit better about himself, and so do you too because you're helping somebody. That's Democrats and Republicans. Don't tell me that they're that much different because they're not. And we keep talking about the big issues. The biggest issue, this is the big one. This is the big one that makes people mad, and I don't care. You can be mad all day. Doesn't bother me. This is the big one. Government money, your money stolen from you, is going to murder children. That's what it's going towards. Your money is murdering children, and there's nothing you can do about it under government structure. Your money's being taken from you to fund programs which murder unborn children. They call it abortion. It's not. Abortion is the natural expulsion of a fetus. It's aborticide. It's murder. It's killing a kid. Your money is going towards this. Your money's going towards that. Do you want that to happen? Well, quit caring about Democrats and Republicans. Quit caring about it. Because that's what your money's going towards. Your money's going towards screwing you over. This is Best Shot here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, hotnewstalkradio.com. Like us on Facebook, by the way. Go to Facebook and like us there. You can also get us on the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone. That's TuneIn Radio on your smartphone. This is Best Shot, where you can call in and express your opinion. That's 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. And listen, if you think you're not being screwed over, feel free to call me, because I am interested in hearing your story about not being screwed over by government. I think that's very interesting. 423-800-8949 is the number to call in. And, you can disagree with me. That's the thing. We live in America. You can think differently from me. Isn't that amazing? I know it's kind of crazy, but in America, you can have an opinion which differs from mine, and you're not going to be hauled off by the Gestapo and put into political prison for thinking something different. Now, you might be held in an Ecuadorian embassy in London, but you're not going to be held off by the Gestapo and shot in the back of the head for saying that government and taxation is theft. You're not going to be. And it's kind of cool, actually. But let's not pretend we live in the freest country. We may even live in the freest country, but let's not pretend that it's as free as it used to be or could be. Because back in the day, your money was worth something. Nowadays, it's worth whatever the heck they say it is, which varies day by day. Do you really want your money to be worth less or more tomorrow than it was yesterday? You wouldn't think so. But that's what happened back in the 1960s. They stole the value of money from you. They stole your money from you. And you probably don't even know it. In fact, back then, they probably didn't even know it. Money used to be backed by silver, believe it or not. I know it's kind of a crazy thing. Money was a silver certificate. A dollar is a measurement. It's a unit of measurement. It's like a kilogram. You can't steal the meaning of a kilogram, or can you? It's like if I contracted to give you a kilogram of something, and instead I gave you a sheet of paper that said kilogram on it, and that was it. Well, that's basically what we have now in our system. And it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's it in a nutshell. Your money was stolen from you in the 1960s when the Federal Reserve said that your money is now not worth silver. It's worth whatever the heck we say it is. Ooh, full faith and credit of the United States. Well, you know what? I don't have a whole lot of faith and credit in the United States, so why should I care about the faith and credit of the United States? I don't know, but that's what they tell me, and I guess I'm crazy if I don't believe them. Right, okay. I can't wait to be hauled off to the funny farm for thinking differently. Oh boy, there's probably a lot of people like me there. There's probably a lot of people like you there, but you don't speak out about it. That's the thing. Not enough people are speaking out. And I have to say, I do kind of respect the kids who are out there protesting right now, because at least they're going out and doing something. They're not staying home and posting online. I do kind of have to respect them for going out and doing something. But I draw the line at burning cop cars and destroying property. Why is it anytime there's a riot, and I'm not talking about a racial thing here, but why is it whenever there's a riot, they burn their own stuff, their own neighborhoods, they ruin their own local economy? We should be protesting against the national economy, not the local one. What are you doing, guys? What are you doing, guys? If you're going to burn down a store, don't burn down Joe Blow's whiskey store. That's his whiskey store. That's the local economy. He might live right down the street from you. You just burn down his livelihood. Why would you do that? No, don't do that. Like a chain maybe is different, but still people work there who live down the street from you. Why would you destroy businesses when you protest? I don't get that. Because you're hurting yourself ultimately. So I have to say, I do respect these kids who are out there protesting because you know what? They're doing something. They're getting that pent-up anger out. That's why I do radios, to get the pent-up anger out, and I think I did a pretty good job today. And you know what? When it comes right down to it, they can protest. And that's the ultimate American idea, I think. That's the ultimate liberty idea is I don't agree with what the protesters are saying and doing, but I do agree that they have a right to do it. And by golly, if someone comes around and says, I'm going to take away that right, I'm going to be yelling about it online. I'm going to be talking about it on the air. Because if, say, the governor says there will be no more protests in the state of, say, Washington, that's a problem. Because if people don't like their government, they can speak out about it. And right now, the government is President-elect Donald Trump. And if they don't like it, they can protest about it. Do I think that they're right to protest about it? No. But do I think that their protest is fine and should be allowed? Yes, absolutely. I don't hate people who disagree with me. I don't. I dislike people who advocate for the killing of children, yes. I dislike people who advocate for stealing your money to go to programs that are ultimately going to ruin your life, yes. But do I hate them? No, not really. Do I think that they shouldn't be allowed to have the opinions they have? No. You can have whatever opinion you want because, amazingly enough, it's America. Now, do we really have freedom of speech in America? Probably not, because there's a lot of intimidation factors there where the police will stand by your protest and eye you. They'll eye you very, very solemnly so you don't say anything too radical. And yeah, maybe that's a hindrance on your freedom of speech, but ultimately we can at least pretend we have it, and we're probably better off for it. This is Best Shot here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, hotnewstalkradio.com. Don't pretend you're free, because you're not. This is Best Shot here on Hot News Talk Radio. The only way to be free is to take freedom for yourself. Hot News Talk Radio.